Hello! I decided to change the format of my life a little bit today, so I hope you like it. And I will be talking to you about the intermittent fasting, how to start it today. I want to tell you about 5 mistakes that people usually get into in the beginning of the practice because I do want you to practice intermittent fasting flawlessly from the start. So let's start the topic. My name is Dr. Krystyna Shepetiuk, and I am the founder and CEO of Biohacking and Functional Medicine clinic, BioX Unlimited. And I have helped many people, including myself and my husband, to do the intermittent fasting practice. So through my personal experience and experience with others, we figured out that there are basically 5 common mistakes that people usually break the practice. So let's kind of go one by one, and we'll start with number 1 is jumping too big. So imagine if you normally eat 3 meals per day, and then all of a sudden you decided to start with a huge fast, like 48-hour fast, or you decided to fast every day with only eating 2 meals per day and fast for 16 hours every day. I think your body would be in shock, and your body would not like you too much, and you would feel super hungry, super angry at the same time. You may get sluggish, and then if you push through all this fasting, you're gonna get headaches, and basically your body is just gonna want to make sure that you're listening to your body, because these headaches, it's basically like a response your body is giving you. So that's why you want to make sure you are listening to your body. And trust me, I have done this before, so I have experienced these headaches by pushing through too much with intermittent fasting. Food is very powerful signal for your circadian rhythm, and that means that the sensation of hunger and your digestion and many other things that happen inside your body are influenced by the time you have that food, basically. So my recommendation before starting your journey of intermittent fasting is to first check with your doctor. And then if it's okay, then like with any other changes in your life, you want to start with instilling a successful mindset before you begin. So first of all, you want to start with setting realistic expectations for yourself to make sure you stay motivated and you stay on track. The newest research on fasting shows that fasting activates autophagy, it helps slow down the aging process, and it gives positive impact on cell renewal. It received a Nobel Prize for that. The biologist that did this research. It also gives you more energy throughout the day, more clarity. It can also give you weight loss if that's what you're looking for. So what is the reason that you want to go on this journey of intermittent fasting? What is it that you want to achieve? So write down these goals in your journal and take it slow. Maybe you're going to go for 8 hours. Maybe a week later you're going to go for 12 hours and then switch to 16, and then maybe you're going to switch to 24 hours. Whatever that goal is, write it down and then stick to it. Stay motivated. Make sure you have accountability body, or you have someone to talk to how you're doing in this process. So let's go on to mistake number 2 that people usually get into, and that is having calories when you're fasting. So that is kind of the opposite of what the practice is all about, right? So that means no cream in your coffee, no sugar in your tea, because the main mechanism the intermittent fasting is using is to help you burn fat, and in turn you get a reduction of calories. And so one study that was done by the University of Illinois, where they chose 23 people and they asked them to fast for 16 hours a day. And after 12 weeks, they lost more or less about 3% of their body weight. And when the researchers looked into the reasons why they were able to lose this body weight, they found through their food journal that the participants were intuitively eating less, about 350 calories less, because their meals were much closer to each other, so they didn't have to eat as much. So if you are adding the calories while you're fasting, you're basically gonna miss the point of this practice. I will give you some hacks though hacks that I do while fasting. So hack number 1 is basically just drinking black coffee or caffeinated beverage like green tea. Caffeine doubles your ketone production, and then coffee and caffeine increases energy and reduces hunger. You can also add grass-fed butter or MCT oil to your black coffee, and MCT oil raises ketones. Grass-fed butter changes the chemistry, the water chemistry, and for better metabolism, and then you get satiety and energy and fewer cravings. And this will not raise your insulin levels. However, if you are doing intermittent fasting to decrease fat loss, then maybe this is not for you. So again, knowing that reason why you're doing the intermittent fasting is very crucial. But if you are looking to decrease insulin levels, decrease inflammation, improve longevity, then and you don't really care if you get the fat loss or not, then you can add butter and or MCT oil to make sure you're not getting hungry throughout this time. You can also add prebiotic fiber to your coffee. Prebiotic fiber feeds the good bacteria, and it will again reduce the hunger. But again, the caveat there is that it's gonna add some calories just depending on the product you get. So there you go, the 3 hacks that you can use to do while intermittent fasting. Mistake number 3 is basically going crazy with food when you eat during that eating window. So if, for example, you fasted for 16 hours, you feel super proud of yourself, you feel like you deserve a reward, and then when you start eating, you just go all out. You start eating pizza, beer, ice cream, and then again, you're kind of missing the point of gaining the benefits of eating whole foods versus high calorie foods. I like to use the analogy of food in the fridge and food in the freezer. So when you start to empty your food in the freezer, it's kind of like emptying out your fat reserves. So if your fridge is still full, it's not likely that you will start pulling the freezer items, the food from the freezer, right? And same goes with your body fat reserves. Until your glycogen storage are not empty, it's harder for your body to start pulling the energy from your fat cells. So when you're doing intermittent fasting, you are going for the freezer storage reserves and burn fat. And when you stop fasting, try not to go overboard with the high calorie foods. Okay, so for mistake number 4, which would be the opposite, eating too little, you eat a bowl of soup and a small salad, and then it's basically, and you're done. And so that would more be like continuous starvation. So when that happens, you could start having headaches, you push through again to keep going with the fasting, and you could start losing hair. Women could start losing period. You could start having these adverse effects when you're not eating enough, when you're not eating appropriately, because again, this is more like a stress on your body. And then maybe one day you had a really bad day, you had a stressful day, you come home, you open the fridge, and all you see is that salad, the leaves, the vegetable leaves that you have, and you just lose control, and you go out and you go for a high calorie foods like a burger because it tastes amazing and because it's Friday night, and you decide to just continue eating that way throughout the weekend, because high calorie foods are just gonna make you more crave more of it, basically. So essentially, if you're starving your body for too long, you break the hormonal balance, which creates stress, and you start making poor decisions. So really, my recommendation is to practice what Japanese people of Okinawa say, hara hachi bu, meaning eat only until you're 80% full. So basically, if you feel like you can still have that piece of cake at the end of your meal, then maybe that's where it's a good place to stop. That's that 80% being full. And interestingly enough, these people of Okinawa, they have one of the lowest rates of illnesses from heart disease, from cancer, from stroke, and they're considered to be in the blue zone community of long life expectancy. So again, aim for feeling satisfied and not hungry, and rather than full. So again, listening to your body is going to be the key, right? Your body will tell you where to stop and when it has enough nutrients, enough food basically. And finally, the last one is going to be the fifth mistake, which is having empty calories. So there is a difference between calories and nutrients. Okay, and finally, let's talk about our fifth mistake, that is having empty calories. So there is a difference between calories and nutrients. So if we take a look at a car, for example, the car needs gasoline, which basically represents calories, and if the car does not have any gasoline, it stops working, just like our body, when it does not have any energy left. The car, however, also needs other things like air in the tires, oil in the engine, which could be like our micronutrients, our vitamins and minerals for our body. So if the car doesn't get all those other things, then it could start breaking down and eventually it stops working, collapses. Same thing with our body. If we only feed it with the calories and not think about the nutrients, the vitamins and minerals that it needs, we're gonna eventually collapse and not have good health, essentially. So calories and nutrients are basically your whole foods like vegetables, fruits, lean protein, nuts and seeds. Highly processed foods are going to be more empty calories, which only give you the gasoline for the car, right? But not the nutrients, vitamins and minerals. So if we look at two meals, they could have the same number of calories but different amount of nutrients. So if, for example, let's kind of imagine a home-cooked meals with salmon, with quinoa, avocado, vegetables, and a side of berries. In my mind, that's a really good, appetizing meal. And then another imagination, let's imagine a restaurant-bought cheeseburger with chips and cookie on the side. So both can fill your stomach up, no doubt about that, but are you getting the benefit from both? So one meal can give you satiety and improve your health, versus the second meal can increase your craving for wanting more food like that. And that's just bringing you into a vicious cycle. So just to summarize, don't start your intermittent fasting until you have a clear understanding why you want to do it. You have talked to your doctor and you are fully prepared for this journey. And also don't forget to DM me if you have any other questions. I will give you a guide to help you throughout this journey. I'll give you a journal that you can go, write everything down every day, how you're feeling, what you're experiencing. And thank you again for your time. I will see you tomorrow and hope you're having a nice evening. Thank you. Bye.